So what we're going to do is paint a Kapa. I'm going to show you some of the ways that I like to design and print and do the dies. This is the rough out of a piece I'm going to do on a baby blanket. So we'll see how this is going to turn out. So here's some of the dies we're going to be using. We've got Olena, which is not native. It's originally from Southeast Asia. Polynesian introduced, but used in many cultures for dyes, medicine, on food. It's really good to eat, actually. So we'll be using that for some of our yellow highlighting. We've got the ma'o, which is the native Hawaiian cotton, and makes the very nice greens that we'll have on here. And we also have hibiscus. This one is very similar to the one of the native hibiscus, which is the hibiscus clayi, and it looks a lot like this. But this is actually, and this is a Hawaiian. Well, this is one that I found here, but the one I'm using is actually from Egypt, and I believe it's a hibiscus subdarifa, which they use a lot to make a drink out of and to make tea out of, but this will be for a lot of the pink colors that I'll be using. There's also a mystery color in here that was in a bottle of something I had and boiled it down, and it'll be kind of a toning color as well. The right here is the native hibiscus, or one of the native hibiscus. There's only about 6 that are native to Hawaii, and they tend to have these thinner leaves like this. Ma'ohauhele is another native hibiscus, and this is actually the true state flower of Hawaii. And this one also makes very nice dark greens, and as the dye itself ages, the greens it'll become a lighter shade of green. So greens for us in Hawaii are very interesting, but these particular plants we get them from tend to grow in the dryland areas. The ma'o is a dryland coastal. Ma'ohauhele will grow at higher elevations, but neither of them need much water, making them good xeriscapic plants as well as great dye plants. The dye is not from the leaves now, it's from the flowers themselves. So here's the root of the Olena. This is what we use for the dye, and of course, as you can see, we're going to be making yellows out of this. Depending on the age of the root itself, when it gets very old, the colors can be very deep orange, almost like this kind of orange, and even deeper than that. And if the plant's very young, then it will be a very pale yellow. So this one is about, it's not too old, not too young, kind of just right color. It'll make a nice deep yellow. As an artist, you look for sources of inspiration in your everyday life, which is the way Hawaiians and probably everybody did. They used what they saw and were inspired by what they saw. And one day in a plant store, I happened to see this bromeliad, and the colors and the lines and the combination of the pink and the green really captured my eye. I had to run out to my car and grab a camera so I could come back in and take a picture of it, because I knew I'd want to use this somewhere on a Kapa. And so this particular Kapa that I'm going to be working on, this was the source of my inspiration for that for this piece. I'll only be using 2 stamps for this Kapa. One is cut from the node of this bamboo. When you want to make these kind, you just cut right in the middle of the node of that thick part, so that you have all this flat. And then I just used a Dremel to put the holes in it. This is a type of hauke pattern. It doesn't have the little spikes, like the regular sea urchin one that's very popular. But there are hauke, or the sea urchin kind of animals that are just rounded without any sharp spikes. They just have little bumps on them. And then this one here is just it's just a series of wavy lines. But interestingly, it was the same kind of make the same kind of patterns almost as that bromeliad plant that inspired me for it. So it'll be lots and lots of printing with this guy, a little bit of printing with this guy, but hopefully we'll get a good effect from just using the two. The watermark in this kapa is the makaupena, and or the pupu upena. It's the fishnet, has the little dot on the inside, and traditionally it was it had to do with fishing and gathering, and so the recipient of this kapa may not end up being a fisher person, but my feeling with this particular watermark is that is wishing whoever has this kapa the ability to gather in the good things in their life. When you go fishing, sometimes you pull in things that you didn't really want in there, and you need to pull them out and throw them back in the ocean. But otherwise, all the good, yummy things that you'll end up bringing in, this is what I would hope for this child who has this kapa, that she spends their life gathering in all the good things.